friends of Daoland. This is going to be the fourth installment in this series on parenting, and in this one we're going to continue with the one we were busy with, where we were talking different classics, and now we're going to go a little bit further on different kind of topics which are part of the age group education, the education of the age group between 0 and 7 or 8 years old. This is a crucial time in the life of children, and there are many things that you can do as a parent. It is very important to also discern what your educational role is, and how you have prepared for that, and what kind of things your child actually needs. I know it is not popular, some of the things that I'm saying, but I want you to think about these kind of things so that you can consider if anything like that actually is going to be useful in the education of your children, or if you can consider for yourself if there are some kind of errors that you have made in the education of your children. I'm very much looking forward to your reactions on this, and also on the reactions on the other videos. So share your reactions in the comments. Make sure you put a like if you like it, preferably not a dislike, of course, and also make sure, if you're not part of our channel yet, that you join our channel. If you want to sponsor one way or the other these programs, that will be really great. You will be more than welcome to do so, because you know, we are paying this from our own pockets and from the conversations that we have with our students during the premiere. So if you want to be part of that discussion, member or not member of the Daoland program, please come to the premieres. There's always going to be a Zoom, and in this Zoom you are going to be able to talk with us and vent your own ideas. These are going to be used as lecture material again, and in some cases, if the discussion is really very interesting, we will publicize them in the public domain also, so that your ideas can go out further also with this part. How we did get to the bus?
We were very far away from the bus. We were like on the place where the...
You're still on the bridge. We're still on the bridge.
We're still on the bridge. And I said to Dad, and Tim was like,
Watch the camera.
I'm gonna run very, very fast to stop the bus, and then I started running, and I did make it to the bus.
Yeah, I didn't believe you, right, that you could do it. And I didn't believe you, so I didn't still go running. And then I saw Palas was almost at the bus already. I was like, oh no, I better start running because he's going to make it, and the bus driver waited for us. Huh? So, who was number one? Yeah. This is all discussion about Chinese medicine, of course, and I want to point out that at this moment, this coming 2023 is going to be a very special year, because we're going to focus on a lot of translation material also. I'm busy at this moment translating a Daoist textbook with about 1500 pages on the 7 corruptions. I'm looking forward to complete that somewhere at the end of the year. There's going to be translations of pieces of Zhang Sanfen. There's going to be translations of the I Ching and commentaries on the I Ching and historical research on the I Ching, to give people in the West a little bit of a broader idea about what the I Ching is all about, because everybody is so much focusing on this oracle thing, and that is not right. If you feel like signing up for our I Ching course, of course, there you get all the material there, and there will be some summaries in the public domain also. I look forward to hear your reactions on this part, of course. Make sure you watch all the way till the end, because yeah, the topic is not complete if you don't listen to the end. You help me very much by watching all the way to the end. If you can share the topic with other people, that will be really great. We need all the help that we can get. We are not a wealthy organization. We don't have thousands of members who pay us every month, and we don't have advertisements. The advertisement that you see with the video is what Google makes money on. That has nothing to do with us. So all your support is welcome. Organic support, of course, is the way what internet is based on, should be based on, and not commercial support. And as a Daoist, we are living from poverty. Thank you, and have fun in the video. And for this, we have to ask ourselves a few questions. My dear friends, let's first talk a little bit more about the Baozi. One of the things that the Baozi talks about in the chapter on education is that the learning process is one of carving and polishing and all these kind of things, because you come to know all kind of things in a general fashion, but you also need to know more details of it. You still have to remain a generalist. This is what Lao Tzu teaches in the Tao Te Ching. He says basically that the ones who develop wisdom, they don't know, they're not specialized in things, but they are general understanders. And for your survival, you need general understanding of all kind of things, and that's a very important part. I haven't got it on my list here, but the Tao Te Ching, of course, is part of everything when you are studying Daoist lifestyles. A lot of leads are being given there, which are also being exemplified by writers as Gehong, who was both knowledgeable in Confucianism and in Daoism. At the moment, when you are learning, you're opening yourself up to your inner light, to the light of reason and the light of intelligence, and these things have to come out. So when you educate your kids, the things that you try to teach your kids is to bring them to light and to bring them to intelligence. It is not enough to let your child develop in its own natural way. You see on our society that doesn't really work. I am a child of that kind of upbringing, although my parents were relatively disciplined, but I am more strict, I guess, to my kids. Although I also let them have more extreme freedoms at the same time. But in a way I'm more strict than my parents are, because I really have a plan in what they should learn and why they should learn it. And I don't have to do it like in a monastery, getting up at 5:30 and then first go do all kind of practices and maybe rituals or something like this. But they still have to learn certain kind of qualities, and when they grow older, they can start appreciating this better and know what is the value of that. One of the things that Gehong talks about is that you have to learn to gaze up to heaven and to look to the earth. And when you look to the earth, it is not so much that you look into the earth, but you look at all the creatures that are around you, so that you can understand how their interdependencies are, how their functions are, what they can do, what they cannot do, and how you can learn from that. Every animal, pet, birds in the garden, trees, plants, all these things, they have something to teach for you. When you, for instance, look at plants, you can eat a lot of the plants that you're seeing. All the things that grow in the wild you can eat, as long as a dog didn't pee on it. So that is very important. Or when people did poop in that area, because these kind of things are poisonous for us. So that means that you have to learn to appreciate the signs and the symbols, signals in nature, so that you can know what nature can mean to you. About 60 to 80% of everything that grows around you probably is edible. Not everything is nice, but if you teach your children how to taste things, what the quality of the taste is, you can teach them how to appreciate what it does to them and how they can grow as a result of proper eating. Yeah, sure, it's nice to eat pudding or ice cream or something like this, but if you don't learn to appreciate what it actually does to you, the child cannot understand that ice cream today maybe is not a good idea. Maybe French fries at McDonald's today is not such a good idea. So it is important to help people, the children anyway, people also, but help children to understand when it is the right time for what thing. When you are gazing up to heaven, then at that moment you try to be impressed, basically. You try to be receptive to the things that are coming to you. Heaven shows you the coming and the going of seasons and so on. In Tai Chi Chuan, there is a move where you gaze left and peek right. It is very similar in essence, because it also wants you to make sure that you have a broad understanding of your environment, but you also have to peek to details so that you understand what's going on. The gazing is to get a 3D view, the peeking is to get the details. So when you look at the earth, you peek into the earth to make sure that you understand the details of nature and you understand what is useful. This is what you teach your children, and at the moment when you gaze, you got to have a broad understanding. You probably remember earlier in the video I talked about that the influence of colors and taste and so on, they are actually very bad, however fun they are. The foundation for that thought comes originally from Lao Tzu, that's what most people think. But in the autumns of the Annals of Spring and Autumn by Mr. Lu, this also, Master Lu actually, not Mr., also discusses this point, because it says that when you are seduced by all these intense qualities, and then at that moment you're corrupting yourself, because you get attracted to it, you don't look at the essential things in life. Like for instance, you eat a meal and the meal is very tasteful, that is nice, but then you overeat and then you become nauseous or you become sick, and as a result that you damage your health. At the moment when something doesn't taste, you don't eat it, and as a result that you actually go hungry, that damages your health. At the moment when you feel uncomfortable with yourself, you take a radical solution. You go fasting, or you go into a sauna, or you go do all kinds of things. You try to get rid of something that is considered a problem or an issue. And at the moment when you do that, then at that moment you also damage your life, because you are doing something really extreme to resolve something that gradually build up as a problem. You know, these people that go to cryonic chambers to get rid of an infection or problems with their joints, great. But if you see people who work in freezers, you can see what the cold actually really does, and you can say, but it's just a homeopathic solution only for a few seconds or something like this. It is extreme, the risk is extremely high, so it is something that you just shouldn't do. I know it is business, you shouldn't say things that harm business, but that is also why we don't have any merchandise. When we are a small organization, we try to reach as many people as possible, and we try to make sure that we get into a real message with people, and that is very important. Because so many things, so many people, they try to teach you like how to deal with this, how to deal with that. They try to give you solutions, but the solutions usually are very simple, very natural also. The thing is that you have to start with children. So children education is a very important part. Your responsibility as a parent is not so much to make sure that you create safety for the child. Yes, you want to do that too, but the main thing is that you have to understand that you are a teacher to the child more than the state is, because the state is teaching the children. They teach the child things to make sure that the child is functioning within the state. It doesn't teach the child how to be a good person. If the state wants to teach your child how to be a good person, it will be the good person that functions well in the state. As a parent, you have a great opportunity to teach your child about morality, about the nature of life, how to survive in the wilderness, how to take physically good care of yourself so that you don't need doctors, to learn a profession that you can do anywhere. Like for instance, I'm teaching my children a little bit of Kung Fu so that they can learn how to become a Kung Fu teacher later, but I also teach them how to do massage, how to do acupuncture, and so on, and I teach them the theoretical frameworks of that, so that gradually they can take over my business. When I grow old, they can just take over my business and they can continue. If they don't want to take over my business, that's great, but at the moment when they are finished with their time here with me in the house, they should be able to manage their life. Even if they fail at anything, I should have some basic skills through which they can survive. Even if it's just going into the forest, eat something, going to the field and eat something. There is no bigger need than just making sure that you are going to live and you're going to thrive. That's the main thing. So if we're going to summarize for today, you can say that I'm going to summarize for today. You can say that the teaching to the child in the first 7 or 8 years is about physical education. By the time they're 8, they should definitely be able to have learned at least one Kung Fu form, and you have in the meantime also learned to do that Kung Fu form very well, and you will find out that it gives you a lot of pleasure because of being able to move like that. Even though you maybe also go to gym, maybe you also go to exercise anyway, and maybe you go to swimming, or you go to dance class or whatever. As a child, you have learned how to control yourself, but also how to defend yourself. You're starting to learn how to defend yourself and how to be your own person, so that other children think twice before they attack you. And in a world that is restless, being able to be self-contained is a very important quality. That is what martial arts teaches you, that you do not become too excessive, because when you are becoming too excessive in your expression, then at that moment you also lose connection with things. You know this in your house when, for instance, you have neighbors that can hear you. You say to your child like 10,000 times, don't make too much noise because the neighbors will hear you. But when they are getting into their enthusiasm, they will make a lot of noise, period. That's just how it is. When they're sick, they're going to make a lot of noise. They don't learn how to appreciate the disease and learn something from it to avoid that they get there a second time. Developing your physical quality, your bodily quality is a very important part. And as a parent, you want to provide materials for the child to learn from. If a child is an opening lotus, you have to be prepared for every set. Make sure you learn how to properly speak, so that they don't take over bad language. Don't curse. Cursing doesn't make anybody better, because it brings anger and jealousy and all kinds of other negative feelings into their lives. And if they are going to be ruled by that, it will take a longer time for them to mature, because mature people don't curse. Mature people do not get jealous. Mature people do not get emotionally upset at the moment when they get something going against them. So that means that if you are like that and you get emotionally upset, or you become angry, or you do curse, and so on and so on, that means that you are still a child, and you have to get rid of your demonic side, because that is what it is. The education of a child has to canalize the child, has to let it the freedom to develop in its own way, but it has to canalize to know, like, okay, I can go this way, but this way is the best. At the moment when you do not canalize, the child will go in all directions, and it will take the easiest way, because that's how people are. We are opportunists, so that means that we usually take the easy way out in a situation, and if that is bullying, then bullying is the best way. If stealing is the easiest way, stealing is the easiest way. If killing people is the easiest way, then that is the easiest way. You see in many countries where there's a lot of poverty, the only way out very often is either crime or going into the army. Both are signs of the fact that the society is not working. If people want to go into the army, that is not a good sign. If people want to go into crime, or they are forced into crime, that is not a good thing. If people are not aware of the process of building families, that is not a good sign. When children are not aware of the fact how much power they have over their child at the moment when it is growing up, that is also not a good sign. For now, I don't remember exactly which classic it was, but one of the classics, it says, okay, when you are developing yourself as a child, you have to learn to appreciate society as a life of service to that society. No, I will get to it. At the moment when you have to grow up, and you have to grow up, and then at that moment you want to grow up as a person that is serviceable to other people, not self-oriented, not trying to self-assert yourself all the time. You don't have to demean yourself, but you definitely have to make sure that what you do in life actually serves humanity as a whole. That means you don't want to learn how to make guns, you don't want to make poisons, you don't want to do sell useless crap. These kind of things are not good to develop a proper character. If you want to go into finance in a way that makes people better. Don't try to steal people's money. Don't try to take too much benefit or profit from helping other people. That also is a very important part. If it is about your internal self, right, that means that you have to learn to contain yourself and to develop yourself internally. And then we're not even talking about developing immortality, because at the moment when you really want to take good care of health, you eventually end up in the pathway towards immortality practice. For the simple reason that a human being is made to become very old. In the Han Dynasty Gehong it says for good health you can become easily 150. So in the past, that was before the Han Dynasty Gehong was written, they teach people about this and that and that and that, and as a result that they became like that. But we have forgotten to teach our children all these valuable things, so they become less old. They die more young. Of course, they are on the way to build all kinds of chemistry to force bodies to become old, but what is going to be the price of that when you force something to become very old? It is not natural, it is not inborn. it is artificial. And artificiality, if there's anything that we learn of it, always has a side effect. So I hope this video was very interesting to you. I'm going to prepare for number 4 in this video. We're going to go to an older age, and we start talking a little bit more about how to prepare the child for the rest of their life. That is so amazing, the things you can teach to a child. You can really scare them to death with that. Don't. So, when you think this video was very interesting, make sure you like, and so on and so on. I should make a preview for this.